Welcome everyone to what will be the Washington Capitals GM mode. Yes, Washington did win the GM mode vote, but this is the prologue episode. So what that means is we're going to go through the AHL, the SHL, the Liga, and the CHL, and the NHL. And I'll show you guys the players that I changed and the players that you guys said should be changed. First, we're going to go through the AHL, the SHL, the Liga, and the CHL. And last, we'll do the NHL. There's not many in these leagues. The majority is in the NHL because every NHL team does have some changes. I have everything written down on a document here. So we'll go through the smaller leagues first, and then we'll go through the NHL, and then I will go into the GM mode because I have it created. And I'll show you guys a little bit of the issues that are going on with this, because EA came out with a roster update yesterday, and I didn't do it, but for some reason I feel as though because it's EA, it probably fucked with my ratings and how things worked, because when I go into GM mode, some people's potentials that I haven't changed are all of a sudden higher, and then some potentials that I've changed revert back to their original, right? So there are some problems with it. It's only a couple problems, and I tried recreating the GM mode a couple times, and different teams were having different problems with the potential ratings and the star system. Like when it's white potential, some people go down to 4-star instead of 3.5, or 4-star instead of 4.5, and go down to 3.5-star instead of 4 when their potential's maxed out, and they're only like 29 years old, and it shouldn't be that way, right? So there is a few bugs, it seems, with how this works when you create a GM mode. But I went through every team after like the third or fourth time making the GM mode, and I looked at all the players, and I looked at the potentials, and I said, you know what, this one is fine. This one is accurate. So some of the potentials are a little screwed up. I can't get rid of that. Some people have like 4.5-star gold, or I think 1 or 2 have 4.5-star green, that they shouldn't have. It definitely should be lower, but they're like 25, 26 years old, so it's only 1 or 2 seasons to get better, right? So they're not going to change that much. So anyway, you guys will understand this a lot more when I show you guys the NHL, and then I go into the GM mode. That's why I'm saving NHL for last, so you can see the comparison between the two, and I'll note some of the key points there as we go on. So anyway, let's start with the American Hockey League. And then I'll show you guys the prospects, because the prospects didn't change. Everything is fine with the prospects. I did do a GM sim just to see with Toronto. I went in and I just kind of went through it quick, went through a year, and all the prospects there overall seem to be fine. And I went through this morning as well, and everything's good. So first we start off with Grand Rapids. You guys wanted a change in Mrazek from an 82 to an 83. You guys wanted 4-star gold. He was already 4-star gold, so I didn't need to do much there. Next was Hershey. You guys wanted to change to Burakovsky, so I put him up to 4-star gold, 80 overall. Next was Iowa. Was it a goalie? Yeah, it was goalie. This was one of my changes. I dropped Josh Harding to an 80 overall, so then he gets less playing time than Kemper, because he was an 84 before, I do believe. And then, I went to, where is it? Wilkes-Barre Scranton. I increased Derek Pouliot to an 80 overall because he is playing on the team now instead of like a 74 or whatever he was. So I increased him to an 80. And then I dropped Jeff Zatkov from like an 83. Or no, he's 82 to an 80 overall because he's not the backup right now, right? So that was all the changes I made in the AHL. There wasn't much. And there's only a couple in the Swedish Hockey League. So yeah, we're getting through this quick. So we'll be at the NHL pretty quickly here. So the next one I did was Modo. I put Nylander, 72 overall, 4-star green there. Then I changed. A lot of people are saying this kid is good, and to put him at 4.5-star. He was already at 4.5-star. Oliver Kylington, he was already 4.5-star, but he was a 66 overall, so I bumped him up to 68 because he is ranked the second best defenseman, or like no, he's ranked he's ranked top 5 in the defenseman in the draft, and he's the best European skater, so I bumped him up there. So He does go relatively high when you do the sim when I tested it. So now we'll go with the Liga. A couple more prospects here. It was Karpa, wasn't it? Karpa, yes, here it is. Karpa. One guy in the comments said to change Puchu Jarvi, however, Poljujarvi, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And I looked him up, and he's supposed to go second overall next year in 2016. An American's supposed to go first, but of course there's no Americans in this game. Which gets me to the point that I said I would create Eichel and Hannafin, but I didn't because apparently their potentials, I saw in the comments and I saw videos, that their potentials don't increase. So there's no point doing it. NHL 14, the potentials actually work for created players. In this game, they don't. So there is no Eichel and there is no Hannafin, so I'm sorry about that. But this kid's supposed to go second overall, so he'll probably go first now in 2016. 70 overall, I increased him a little from like 65. So there's him. And then the second-ranked European skater right here, Rantanen, he was only like a 52 or something in this game. Like, no, it wasn't that low. It's like 58, maybe. And he was only like 3-star like green, so I bumped him up because he's the second-ranked European skater, so he's 70 overall, playmaker, 4.5-star. And that is all for those leagues. Now we get into the CHL. I told you this would be pretty quick. I don't have many changes. So we'll go with the OHL first. Let me get a drink here. Alright. So we have Erie to start it off. McDavid is 78 instead of a 74. And then Strome is a 73. I bumped him up there, and he's got 4.5-star gold. A lot of people were requesting that. And then we go to... there we go. London. We have Domi, 4.5-star. A lot of people were saying that. Then Marner, I increased to 72, 4.5. Dvorak as well, increased 74, 4-star gold there. Kingston, I increased Lawson Krause to 4-star gold, 65 overall instead of like a 55. I have my list here, but I'm just looking through the teams. Sonny Milano, I increased to 65 instead of like a 60, and I increased him to 4-star. Because he's pretty good. Sarny, I increased Zaka to 4-star, 75 overall. And I do believe that was all I did in the OHL, yeah. I didn't change any goalies because when I did the sim, the goalies were already jumping up way high by themselves. Like, if I changed them to like if I changed Mackenzie Blackwood to like a 70 or something, like people were saying, like he would literally be like an 80 at the draft. I'm not even joking. Like, it's just so weird. But all right, the top ranked defenseman Provorov, I increased to 70 overall, and then 4.5-star. I decreased Pilon to, he was 4 gold. I decreased him to 4. He's 4 green. I decreased him to 4 gold because he doesn't even become anything anyway. Kelowna, I increased Merkley to 65 and 4-star gold, just give him a little boost. Draisaitl's already like that. Where is it? Portland, there it is. I increased Patan to 4-star green and Bjorkstrand to 4-star green. I increased him to 74 overall because Bjorkstrand becomes nothing in this game from the last update. He was only 4-star gold. You guys remember with Columbus GM mode, he became like nothing, so I want to make him become something here, right? Seattle was the next one. Since I don't have the Americans in this draft, Matthew Barzal is going to be drafted higher, so I increased him a little bit to 68 overall. Prince George, I basically went through projected first-round picks, and I just looked at all of them and increased them. Like Harkin here, I just increased him a little bit. Swift Current as well. Another projected first-round pick was DeBrunsk here, so I increased him a little. You know, just kind of giving them better potential, give them a little bit boost in the overall, even though the game should be able to do that itself. We're just kind of trying to help these guys out, right? So there's the WHL. Now we go with the Q. A few changes here. Cape Breton is the first one. I increased another possible first-round pick right here. Zhveknikov, I guess that's how you pronounce that. Charlottetown, I increased Sprong from I just increased him to a 63, 4-star gold. So he goes a little bit earlier. Baie-Comeau, I made changes. Forgot about them. Baie-Comeau, I decreased Malak to 3.5-star. He's projected to go in like the late, like second round this year, so he's not supposed to be like 4-star green like he was. What else? St. John. Made some changes here. These two guys are supposed to go in the first round this year, so I just gave them a little bump in overall by like 3 or 4 points and then gave them a boost in potential. These guys are supposed to both go in the first round this year. Zaboral and Shabbat. Late first round, early second round, or something like that, I was reading. And Halifax. Duh. Halifax is what I changed as well. I increased Ehlers to 4-star green 74 because he barely becomes anything I see in GM modes. And Timo Meier, I increased from like a 5 overall to 62 with 4-star gold because he's supposed to go in this draft as well. He's supposed to go relatively high. So that is what I did for the other leagues other than the NHL. So we'll get into the NHL now. I thought this video would be longer. Maybe it will be now that I'm going into NHL. And then I'll show you guys the changes that happen in GM mode when you start one up. So let me get my second folder open here on my computer for the NHL. What did I change in here? Alright, here we go. So in the NHL, EA came out with a roster update, of course, and I didn't download it, but I looked at the players they changed, and I made a lot of the same changes. I left some people out that I disagreed with, or ones that I just couldn't find. I was just too lazy to go through every team and find the player. So I took their recent roster update that happened yesterday. It came out Sunday. Or why am I saying Sunday? Today's Friday. Or no, what the fuck? No, today's Saturday. Yesterday. It came out Friday, and I'm recording this next day, obviously. So it came out, and I looked at the list of the players, and I went through every team and made the increases, decreases that they made. So it's kind of like we have that second roster update as well, and you have my update mixed with it, right? So you have the players that I changed, you have the players that EA changed yesterday, and you have the players that you guys suggested, but I had to manually go through and do the EA changes because I did not want to restart and do all my changes over again when I do a roster update, right? So I just found it be easier to go through it myself and do their changes because that would have been fucking annoying to go through and do that all again if I download that. So the first player on Anaheim here that we decreased was Ryan Kessler from a 90 to an 88. I don't think he deserves to be a 90. 88's a pretty decent overall for him. Fleischman was the other one. Fleischman, he was at 84, now he's at 82. That was an EA update player. Raquel was increased to an 81. That was a EA update. And John Gibson, I decreased to a 82 overall just because I don't think he's ready yet, and we want Anderson to be in the net more often. So there is Anaheim. Now we get to Arizona, only 2 players. Ekman Larson I increased to 87 from an 86, and then Tobias Reeder I increased because I was looking, he's got like 15 goals this year or something, so I gave him a little 3.5-star increase there for gold potential. Boston, I decreased Lucic to 86 overall like you guys were saying. His potential was 4-star green. I was like, no, fuck that. That's going down. So I did that. Eriksson I decreased to 84. And Pasternak is someone who I increased, but EA also increased him to an 81 overall, and I increased him to an 81, so it worked out fine. And I gave him 4-star gold there. Buffalo, only 1 player, 1 overall point increase for Tyler Ennis from an 84 to an 85. Buffalo was the only team that I didn't make any changes to until like literally before recording this. I decided let's make some changes. Calgary, I do believe, is one of the fucked up teams in the GM mode where the star system is kind of fucked for their team. I don't know why. They're one of those teams. But I increased Brody to an 85 from like an 83, Monahan to an 85 from an 84, Gaudreau to an 85 from an 84. I think their potentials are the same. And I decreased Mason Raymond to an 82 because that was one of the EA updates. That was one of their players in the update. And then Jonas Hiller was another EA update player, decreased to 86 overall, so I did that as well. Goalies were a big thing that you'll see in the GM mode randomly. Like Hiller had when I went in, he had 3.5-star potential. It was so weird, so I had to increase it to 4.5-star green, so it would come out 4.5-star white here. It's just so weird. Like some of the goalies got fucked up because of it, but I was able to fix them, luckily. But at the expense of some of the other players, and then I had to go back and fix them. It was just a cycle of random shits just getting fucked up from me changing other things, and it's just how the game works. You'll understand it more, like I said, when we go into the GM. So just keep note of some of these players and how they get fucked up when you actually make a GM mode. So Carolina, all I did was change Cam Ward, dropped him down to an 86. That was what EA did as well, so that worked out well. Chicago, Only player, it was an EA one, Sharp, from a 90 overall to 87. That's what they did, so I did it as well. Colorado, McKinnon, I increased to 87 from an 86. A lot of people are saying to drop him down to 4.5-star gold, but a lot of people also disagreed, and then I got thinking, you know what, let's just keep him 4.5-star green. That's fine for McKinnon. He only becomes like a 92 is the highest I've seen him, 93, right? So that's a respectable number. Bobrovsky, I increased from 4.5-star red to gold. That was all I did on Columbus. Dallas, one of the teams that got fucked up as well when you create a GM. Lettinen, I decreased to 86 overall. Randomly, he had 3.5-star potential as well in the white, so I had to go back and redo the GM mode so he would actually get 4.5. Because if the goalie is starting off at 3.5-star potential and he's 30 years old, he's going to drop down quicker than he should, and that's not what we want, right? So Detroit, I increased Tatar and Nyquist both to green star potential instead of gold. That was a team that, Nyquist would not change. Every time I create the GM mode, he would stay at 4-star gold, and Tatar would stay at 4-star green, though. His changes would be fine, but Nyquist would not change. It was so fucking weird. I had to keep redoing it, and randomly other potentials were changing. It's so fucking all over the place. You'll see. Oh my god. It was. That's why it's been a few days to get this out. This video, because I was about to do it yesterday, and then all of a sudden, they have a roster update again, and then all this got fucked. So Nugent Hopkins, I increased to 87 from an 86, and I also decreased Schultz from 4.5-star green to gold. For some reason, EA had him at 4.5-star green, and I just don't agree with that at all. Florida, Bjugstad and Ekblad up to an 85 from an 83. Ekblad was an 84, Bjugstad was. And then Boland, EA decided to drop him down from 85 to 83, so I did that as well. That was one of your suggestions as well, guys. And EA had the same idea. Voinov, I decreased to 84 instead of 86 just because he's not playing, right? One of the teams with most changes, the Minnesota Wild here. Pominville, down to an 86. Vanek down to an 86 as well. I made those changes. Niederreiter, I increased to 84 from 83. Because he's got like 22 goals this year. Scandella, a lot of people said to increase from 79 to 82, so I did that. Dumba was an EA update. They increased him 79. And EA also increased Dubnyk to 85, and that's what I was doing anyway. I had him at 84, but EA gave him 85, so I said, why not, right? The Montreal Canadiens... Gallagher, I increased to 85 from 84. For some reason, Eller has green potential, but I made it red, but it's just fucked up. In the GM mode, I think it's yellow. It's in the middle, so it's another example of how fucked up this is. Who else did I change? Oh, yeah, Delarose. EA wanted him to be 78. I had him at like 76, so I just gave him a little bump again. So that's good. And then the best goalie in the game, I increased 94 overall, Carey Price, so he is the best, and then Lundqvist and Quick have 93 ratings, right? So I made Carey Price the best goalie in this game. Nashville, what did I do in Nashville? Oh yeah, I only increased Pecorine from a 91 to a 92. That's fine right there. How old is Pecorine? Pecorine's 31, almost 32. All right, so his potential is all right. I think Pecorine only has 4-star white potential in the GM mode. I couldn't fix him. He's randomly stuck at 4-star potential, but he is getting older, so I guess it makes a little bit of sense, but it's still fucked. You'll see. New Jersey, I had no changes for New Jersey except EA came out with 1, and it was Larson increasing by 1 overall point. New York Islanders, Anders Lee, I increased potential-wise and overall-wise to 82 and 4-star gold. And then I changed Neuwirth to 83, so Halak gets more playing time. Decreased him from 4-star green to gold. Ottawa, the New York Rangers. Hayes, there he is, 82. That was an EA update as well, but I had that in mind at the same time. And then Talbot I increased to 84 because he's unbelievable. Get him a little bit more playing time there. Ottawa, another team with some of the most changes. Let's see. Hoffman, up to an 83. For some reason in GM mode, He changed from 3.5-star gold to 3.5-star red. I don't know why it's like that. It's just what the GMO did. Again, another player I have to sacrifice potential-wise in order for it to make a little bit more sense. Stone increased to 82. That was an EA update. Lazar to an 80. That was an EA one, so I had to do that myself. Goaltending-wise, EA, you guys said Andrew Hammond to like a 77. EA put him at an 82, so I increased him to an 82 and gave him a little bit of potential. Decreased Anderson to an 86 because he's not doing that well. And yeah, look, Carlson has 4.5-star green, and so is Turris. Like I don't remember them having that. Like, it's just randomly changed. I don't get it. Anyway, the Philadelphia Flyers, I decreased Voracek from a 90 to an 88. I know he's doing well this year, but I don't think he should be a 90 overall. I think he shouldn't be like a 92, 93 in the GM mode. And you could say that's biased, but I don't think Voracek should be a 93 overall, because that's what it'll come to in the GM mode if he stays at 90. So I decreased him a little. Who else? Andrew McDonald, EA decreased him, wanted him decreased by an overall point there. LeCalvier decreased by 2 points. EA wanted that as well. Delzato, EA wanted him from 85 to 82, so I did that. Luke Shen, I decreased from 4-star green to gold. What else? And the last player is Bellemare from a 72 to a 78. That was what EA wanted as well. We go to Pittsburgh. Little bit fucked up in the GM mode is Pittsburgh, because Perron has 4.5-star green in the GM mode for some reason, but he's 26, so he'll probably not go up at all. I increased Perron to an 87 just so it's a little bit better. He's doing well with Crosby. I increased Hornquist because he is doing really well. In the GM mode, I do believe Kunitz went down to 3.5-star potential, but that makes sense because he is a bit older and he's not doing that well, so I'm fine with that kind of being fucked up. Who else did I change? Because I'm fucking biased. I increased Sutter from 4-star red to gold because he deserves it. He is a good third-line player. And I also decreased Thomas Greiss from an 84 to an 83 because he's just... Fuck, I don't know what to say about Greiss. He's just not having the best of times in Pittsburgh this year. San Jose has a few big stars, decreased, increased. I increased Joe Pavelski from an 89 to a 90 because I think Joe Pavelski deserves it. The year he's been having, he's scoring goals on San Jose even though they're losing games. He scored 41 last year. Point per game, I think he deserved that increase. Joe Thornton, EA decreased from 89 to 88. And then EA also decreased Patrick Marleau from 80, was it 89 or was it 88? I think it was 88 to an 86, so they brought him down quite a bit. He's 35 years old, so I guess makes a little bit of sense. Oh, no, there's one more player. Mueller, EA wanted to increase to 80, so I did that as well. Then we go to St. Louis here. Tarasenko was increased by 1 point by me. Shattenkirk, for some reason, has 4.5-star green potential, same in the GM mode. Again, he's 25. That makes no sense to me, really. Pietrangelo, in one of my created GM modes, had 4.5-star green, and then all of a sudden in this new one, he has gold, so it's weird. Overalls are randomly going to shit, or potentials are going to shit. Not the overalls, it's the potentials that are getting fucked. So, Berglund as well, I decreased him to 4-star gold instead of green. And, who's the other guy? Oh, Jaskin. EA wanted changed to 80 overall, so I did that. Tampa Bay, this one was a pain in the ass in the GM mode as well because it was getting fucked up a couple times here. Johnson, you guys wanted to 4-star green, and same with Kucherov. I did that, and for some reason, Johnson's wasn't kicking in. He was staying at 4-star gold, so I had to redo GM mode a few times and load it in, and then eventually, it did change to 4-star green, so that's good. I never knew Steven Stamkos was 5-star gold, but we'll see. You'll see the differences. I decreased Drouin's potential to 4.5-star gold instead of green, and I gave him an 83 overall, bump up his overall a little bit, though, so he should still turn out relatively similar. Then Vasilevsky, you guys wanted him increased, and EA did as well, so they gave him an 80 overall rating, and I gave him the 4-star potential. Toronto decreased Reimer, gave Bernier gold star potential, and Reimer as well, gold star potential instead of green. decreased Bozak to 85 from an 87. That's what EA wanted. I decreased Kadri from 4.5-star gold to 4-star gold. Gave Gardner 4-star gold instead of 4.5-star gold. Morgan Riley, EA increased him from a 79 to an 82, I do believe. And was that all changes on Toronto? Yes, it was. Going to Vancouver. Henrik Sedin to an 88 instead of 87. EA want that as well, so that worked out fine. Higgins from 85 to an 83. EA change right there. Horvat from a 79 to an 81. Another EA change. Kennins from a 72 to a 78. Another EA change. And that's it. So we'll save Washington for last because that's our team, and I'll show you guys the comparison in the GM mode, what our contract screen looks like and the potentials, and then when you go into roster management. So only changes on Winnipeg were the 2 goalies. I decreased Pavlik from 85 to 83 and gave Hutchinson 78 to an 84, so he's more of their starter. All right, so I gave him a bit of potential as well. So there you go. So that's Winnipeg. Now we go to our team for the GMO, the Washington Capitals. For some reason, Backstrom is 4.5-star green. I didn't do that. I increased his passing a little bit because some people are saying to do that. Carlson, I increased to 88. A lot of people want that as well. So I did that from 87 to an 88. I looked at his points and looked at his playing time, and it was well-deserved. Eric Fair, I increased from 82 to an 84. I looked at his stats. He's got almost 20 goals this year. Pretty much, I think it's like, what's he got? I think he's got like 30-something points, mid-30s. Doing pretty well. Not getting enough credit. So I also have a signed hockey stick from Eric Fair when I went to Pittsburgh. I watched them play Washington, and he gave, out of like, there was like 15, 20 people there in the practice, and he gave me the stick. He looked and said, "You get the stick." And I was like, you know what? Thanks. I'm gonna give my boy Eric Fair some love here. So I gave him a little increase as well, just because of that, right? Kuznetsov, you guys were saying to increase from like an 81 to an 83. Give him a little boost because he doesn't really become anything if you don't help him. So I gave him a little boost here. And Holtby. This was you guys were suggesting this, but so was EA. You guys were saying make him an 87 instead of an 86, and EA made him an 88. And I don't know why he has 4.5-star potential. It's just getting fucked up. I made him 4-star potential, but he's only got 1 year left to pretty much grow, so he's not going to increase that much, really. Goalies, for me, goalies don't really increase that much as they get older. It's normally when they're younger, like 20, 21, 22, and then they just kind of stop. It's weird. So anyway, there's the phone. Never fails, right? So there are all the changes that the team rosters here will say, like roster management. Now I'll show you guys the GM mode and show you guys some of the differences and how it just gets fucked up, but I'm not going to waste my time going through and trying to fix everything, because every time I fix one thing, everything else gets fucked. So what's the point, right? So I'll show you guys this, and then we'll be done for the prologue, and then I can start the GM mode. In the next episode, of course. So we got the Washington Capitals here. Look, when I go to contract screens, like you guys can go back and look at those at the video, or you guys can go back in the video and look at Washington and now see the difference. There is some differences on, maybe not Washington. Maybe Alzner had green potential in the roster update. There were some random differences. Can't remember where. I will tell you one of our first goals is to get rid of Orpik because he only has 3-star potential now. So one of our goals is to get rid of that huge ass contract. That is fucking huge. We got to get rid of that somehow. That's one of the top goals. Okay, now it's proving me wrong right now. Yeah, so here's our team. Here's what we got. We have Bowie down there. So we have a few prospects. We have Burakovsky as well. So we have a pretty good team here. But where are some of the fucking changes? Where it just fucking gets all dumb. I'm trying to remember some of the examples. Where does it get fucked? It's making a liar out of me right now. Oh, here's one. All of a sudden, Yuri Hudler is 3.5-star potential. He's supposed to be 4-star. I don't understand that at all. Randomly, he went down to 3.5-star, and I can't change it. I don't know why. That was one of the problems. And he's 4-star when you go to roster management. It's really weird. No, everything seems fine there. Chicago, yeah, everything's fine. Or is it? Wait, did I check goalies? Because the goalie potential seems to be fucking up a lot, too. Something was fucked up. Okay, Luongo stayed the same. Yeah, we don't need any changes there, really. Did Dubnyk pan out alright? Yeah, okay. How old's Pacioretty? Oh, he's 25, okay. Yeah, like, Eller's all of a sudden green star. Like, I had him down to red. Huh. So weird. Did Price work out alright? Yes, he did. He's 27. Alright. Yep, see, look, Rene is one of the goalies that's fucked up as well. He was, I knew it. He's supposed to be 4.5-star, but now all of a sudden he's at 4. Like, what? Like, that's fucking dumb. It's weird. Like, even, like, where's a goalie that's older than him? Yeah, look. Like, Hiller still has the 4.5-star potential, and he's 32. Like, what? I don't know. It's just so weird. I'm not going to try to fix it. There's always a couple players that get fucked up, it seems, every time I try to fix this. Something's wrong with this game, but obviously we know that. The game's fucking broken. Oh well. So I'm not even going to try to fix the little problems, because Nashville will probably just draft another goalie at some point, right? It's no big deal. Alright. Just making sure all my changes are staying the same here, because I didn't really pay too much attention. Paid a little bit of attention. Because Rene's fucked up. Hoodler's fucked up. Like, what? Why are these 4.5 green? Like, I didn't do that. Oh, okay. He's now all of a sudden... Okay, good. I thought he was red. Hoffman was red. It was Smith I must have confused him with. Okay. Oh, wait. Did Hammond? Okay, yeah. Philadelphia. Yeah, okay. It's only those couple players. Weird. Because I swear to God, I did nothing, and I didn't even do the EA update. Things are just weird. Very weird. Yeah, Kunitz went down to 3.5. That's fine, though, because he is 34. Kind of makes a little sense. But, I mean, it's just so dumb. And, like, Thornton is still 35, and he's got the potential. So Zetterberg's fucked, Hoodler's fucked, and Rene's fucked. Those are the 3 players in the game that are fucked in this GM mode. Like, Shattenkirk's got 4.5-star green all of a sudden. I didn't do that. Johnson and Kucherov, thank God, they actually worked out alright. Yep. Just making sure. I don't want something fucked up. And then our team is fine. I think Orpik was... I'm not sure if he's 3 or 3.5, but he's got to go anyway. Even if he was 3.5, he'd be gone. Even if he was 4-star, he'd be gone, because that contract sucks. That's our first priority. And I changed no players on Winnipeg. So, yeah, let's look at that. Okay, so Zetterberg was 4-star. Hoodler was 3.5. And Rene was 4-star. Duh. Jeez, I'm all over the place. So I'm going to prove this point before I end this, because this is getting long. I'm going to prove my point. Alright. Look at this. So you guys saw what they were in the GM mode. And now when you go to roster management, I don't know, for some reason. Okay, we'll start with Hoodler. He was 3.5 in the GM mode. Look. He's 4. Right there. We go to Nashville. He's 4.5 here. Rene's 4.5. But in the GM mode, he's 4 for some reason. Like, why? Why does that get fucked up? We go to Detroit. Zetterberg's 4.5 here. Why is he only 4 in the GM mode? I don't know. Is it because I made changes to these teams? Those 3 teams, I made some changes, and all of a sudden other players sacrifice their potential for the changing of others? Like, that makes no sense. Why is it that when I increase the potential of these 2 from gold to green, all of a sudden Zetterberg's potential drops when I go into GM mode? Is that just a weird thing? Is this a glitch? Is this just something that's fucking stupid? Is this just... Am I losing my mind? Like, what's going on? It doesn't matter. The only one that really kind of grinds my gears is Rene being 4-star instead of 4.5, because he probably should be 4.5 because he's one of the better goalies in the league. But for the amount of times that I've seen so many players fucked up trying to make this GM mode, I'm just going with Rene at the 4-star. They'll draft another goalie. Everything will be fine. They could win the cup in year 1 for all I know. So, anyway, that was the over 35-minute prologue to our Washington Capitals GM mode. Thank you guys for watching this full thing. Thank you guys for all your suggestions and the support. So in the next day or 2, you will see the first episode of Washington where we will do some simming. But first, I'm going to figure out a trade with Orpik. Oh, yeah, let's look at that before I go. So I will figure out the Orpik trade. That is the first thing that we got to do, because he is not playing on our team. That huge fucking $5 million contract. Is he 3-star? No, look. Randomly in the GM mode, he's 3-star, and now he's 4-star here. So it's weird. But he's got to go anyway. He would be gone, so it wouldn't matter. So anyway, there's another player to prove my point. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this insanely long video. I know there was no simming or anything, so it's probably boring. Maybe it was interesting for some people, because you got to see the overall increases and shit. You will truly see the effect of the overall increase in the year 1 draft. It does work. The draft does work, from what I've tested. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. The draft should work properly, and those players that are ranked where they are should go in the relatively right position where they're expected to. So we will see. Anyway, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in a day or 2 with the first episode of the Washington GM mode. Bye-bye.